As many of you may know, I am quite a fan of wrestling. This was certainly something raised on my last night American Truck Simulator stream, mingled in with politics, how Portugal's going to take over the world, and chocolate. But wrestling is a passion of mine, to the point where when I was a child, back in the 90s, I wanted to be a wrestler. Now, of course, that was beaten out of me by bullies, but I still retain a certain interest in watching wrestling regardless. I am one of those people that likes a good story, and it's a story that gets me invested. With wrestling, it's a bit unusual because of how it's developed. If you go back to the time of Hulk Hogan, it was more a case of the big muscly guy looking like an underdog next to a gigantic person. Whether or not they had any wrestling skill was irrelevant. As time went by, of course, Hogan went away, replaced by Shawn Michaels. Yet again another one of those sex appeal related people, swiftly replaced by Bret Hart and Diesel. Let's not talk about Diesel though. That's all that time Bret lost to Backlund. Yeah. Then came the anti-hero in Stone Cold, and then what's more commonly known as the PG era, and now the current era, which I don't know what it's called. I guess it could be considered the kinda not quite maybe kayfabe era. Kayfabe, for those that don't know, is a way of presenting a staged performance as if it were real or authentic. So you're telling a story. It's why many wrestlers, while having ridiculous names, don't really respond to them. And it's quite interesting how weird it is with kayfabe, because social media is so important. It really is to promote not just your brand, but the brand you are signed to. That a number of wrestlers take pictures with each other, even though in the ring they are rivals, which is always the funny part, yes. The Women's Revolution are the biggest culprits in that. That Diva show does them no favors, okay? I bring all of this up because kayfabe and how you perform and what you do to draw attention to yourself is very important. Now, for the remainder of this video, we're going to focus on Priscilla Kelly, a professional wrestler, and she's gotten a bit of attention for what she did during a performance that, while I can certainly understand it being disgusting on the face of it, while others will say it is badass, or, and this is the one I would probably want to say is more relevant, one of the best ways to get attention. Priscilla Kelly is more commonly known for being in the first round of the Mae Young Classic where she lost. She's now more known, I guess, for pulling out a faked used tampon from her ring attire and shoving it in the mouth of her opponent. And I am going to play the clip of that now, so if you don't want to, it's about 45 seconds long, so skip ahead 45 seconds. Got to give the crowd credit, and I'm trying hard not to laugh. You sick fuck. I love it. That's a chant I can get behind. It's a shame they don't do that in WWE, not the tampon bit, but the shouting you sick fuck. I guess with them being so delicate on the whole hardcore scene, it's unlikely they'll ever go back to the more dangerous and concussion-inducing batterings. Unsurprisingly, there were many who are associated with the WWE who have spoken out against this, where you have Jim Ross, Gail Kim and the Road Dogg talking this, condemning it as not being kayfabe, giving wrestling a bad name. I tend to disagree. I think if it's a gimmick of Priscilla Kelly's, it's a gimmick. For God's sake, you had a guy walk to the ring with fangs spitting blood out, into the crowd no less, as a mist. And I think WWE, when it comes to having a leg to stand on, they don't have much of one. And I would like to point out that anyone who spoke out that worked for any other major promoter also doesn't have a leg to stand on, considering what other companies have done when it comes to genitals or genital-related products. They don't really have much of a leg to stand on. And I do want to draw from memory one particular thing about the male genitalia, where Val Venus was dating Taka Michinoku's sister, I believe. In kayfabe, of course, with him being the quintessential porn star-ish-y wrestler, and Taka Michinoku's family decided to rip off his towel, hold his arms back, put his dick on a table, and as the lights cut out to black, swing the sword down, implying they'd removed his genitals like reek. On the flip side to the criticism from Jim Ross, Gail Kim and Road Dogg, Tommy Dreamer, the hardcore legend, praised this as being badass. I put it to you that it is, while badass, simultaneously disgusting. It is trashy and disgusting in the sense that it is where it comes from, that whole product and the process. Guys don't take cum from the tip of their dick and slap it around people's faces. But it is also badass because it is taking it to another level. For years in New Japan, they've been taking hardcore to a level where at the point of recording, I swear I've seen someone almost rip someone's face off. It gets absolutely insane. Why they do that baffles me. I know it's not the same thing as a vagina or a cock, but at the same time, I understand why they want to push those boundaries because more people talk about it. And look at it, people are talking about Priscilla Kelly. Granted, I don't think she'll be in WWE anytime soon, but I don't think she cares. If she's creating her own brand and using social media, a lot of wrestlers are able to be very successful without having to be in the WWE. A number of wrestlers have never stepped foot in the WWE, or hadn't for the majority of their career, and made millions. Cough cough. Sting. Cough cough. Okay, he never did the vagina thing. As far as I'm aware, he doesn't have one. Now, since all this went down, Priscilla Kelly has in fact put out a statement on Twitter about this, where she said, "A penis is funny and awesome. A vagina is disgusting and trashy. #equality. The fact that a point of sexism can legit be raised when companies like TNA and WWE are going through a bit of a, quote, women's revolution, kinda sucks, because she can fob off the tampon bit, which has disgusted people so much, to make a point about equality. And she has a bit of a leg to stand on when you think about it. We can go through history and talk about all the times where sex has been used to sell, men and women. It's happened for most of WWE's existence. But also the point where balls, dicks, vaginas, tits are used to sell or to make an impact or to get a reaction. WWE are going to be what I base this on, because there are a number of clips I could show you but won't because I'll get copyright struck, but I'll mention them because most people will remember it anyway. So let's start with obviously the Val Venus clip. How about the fact that Rikishi used to wipe his sweaty bottom in people's faces? How about the remarkably comical move used by Joe Ryan where people grab him by his balls and he flips them using his dick? Not even joking, he hulks it up. Does anyone remember Shattered Dreams? Anyone remember Shattered Dreams? Or how about all those bra and panties matches the WWE has had? Or the fact that they got a considerable amount of traction with the women's wrestlers, even though a number of them were not wrestlers, that posed it for Playboy. Because they're classy bitches, everyone. The overarching point to all of this is that the WWE, much like every other promotion, has used sex to sell for many, many years. This applies to denigrating the opposite sex, male or female, as it gets a reaction. With WWE, they've done it to promote anti-bullying campaigns, which I think is retarded. And while this particular stunt is grim, it did exactly what it was meant to do. It got your attention. Getting you to discuss who Priscilla Kelly is benefits Priscilla Kelly. Whether that's a point about equality and us not wanting to talk about bloody tampons being shoved in people's mouths, because we're not all this guy, is a different discussion entirely, and I don't have the time for it today. Other things to do. Like, for example, at 7 PM I will be streaming on White Sith Male's channel, link below. We're going to play some Rocket. That'll be fun. Yup. And at 9:30 PM GMT, I will be doing a full response to Prime Minister's questions, the first back after the Christmas recess. Now, on Monday is the Crunch Brexit vote, and there has just been a bill passed through about the finance bill with regards to no-deal Brexit. It's getting murky, and if she loses, I don't think no deal's going to happen. So this is going to be quite amusing and quite challenging. So I hope to see many of you there while I address it. So I hope everyone has a lovely Wednesday the 9th of January, and thank you all for listening.
Cthulhu.